Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. Today on the show, we're going solo again. We've had a couple scheduling hiccups this week. It's going to be okay. I apologize that you got to deal with just me, but I promise we're going to have a lot of fun today. I thought that today would be a fun day to play with an idea that I've had for a long time, which is to try and use Jamstack auth. So let me maybe contextualize this a little bit. Here's what I want to do. Let's talk about the outcome and then we'll step back to the how. What I want to be true is I would like for there to be a kind of dashboard that somebody could open while the stream is live if you are a sub. And so if you're a subscriber to the stream, I would love for there to be a way to like open up this little dashboard to the side or something, and you would have access to maybe a soundboard, or maybe I do polls, or maybe you could maybe we'll limit the submarine controls to just the subscribers, or something like that. You know, maybe there will be new things that we build, and the idea is that we can make this into kind of a fun way to interact with the stream if you're a sub, and give us some abilities to like play a little bit more, and basically give people a little more access by being subs that is maybe a little too noisy or a little too dangerous otherwise, like, you know, being able to post a question, or being able to I don't know, like interact with something with text input versus just being able to like emote, which, you know, there's always the risk of somebody anonymously abusing a feature when it's open. So just kind of, you know, doing a little bit of stuff that I think is a little bit more fun, but a little bit less safe. And you know, for now at least, we'll see how well this scales. But for now, at least, letting the sub be kind of the filter for quality. I guess if somebody wants to pay $5 to troll, they will. But hopefully, it's enough of a deterrent that it like keeps out bots and stuff like that, right? So the how of how I want to do this is Twitch has an API. And the Twitch API is good, getting better. They're always working on it. I've been happy with the Twitch dev team. They seem to be paying attention and listening when people are asking for things. So you know, I hope it sounds like we do need them to hopefully make some improvements on the moderation and the protections for you know, the underrepresented folks who are streaming. It sounds like we got a lot of problems with harassment and bot raids and hate raids and stuff like that. So we do want to stop that. That's terrible. So, you know, Twitch devs, listen up, help. But you know, around some of the other features around being able to access the API, get information about your stream, update things like that. That API is steadily improving, and it's been pretty wonderful, right? So my goal today is to take advantage of, well, here's my tentative plan, and we're going to dig into the docs. I haven't actually researched how to do this, so we might have to call an audible here as we go. But here's my tentative plan. Twitch has OAuth. So my thinking is that I'm going to implement OAuth on the Learn with Jason site in a page so that you'll be able to log in to learnwithjason.dev using your Twitch account. By logging in with your Twitch account, you're going to get an access token that we can then use to make a request for your subscription status on learnwithjason.dev. So if you are a subscriber for Learn with Jason on Twitch, then we'll show some additional things. And maybe what we can do is show things no matter what if you're a Twitch user, and show things additionally if you're a Twitch subscriber. Or, you know, maybe there's mod controls too, like that. That would be pretty great. We could put the mod queue or things like that right into a dashboard. There's some cool stuff that I think we can do today. So my thinking is we'll start with OAuth. We'll try to get an OAuth flow going so that people can go to a page and log into learnwithjason.dev using their Twitch account. Then we'll try to get your sub status. And once we get that, we'll be able to show that on the page. Like it'll say, you know, you're logged in as your username, and then it'll say you are subscribed or you're not subscribed to my Twitch channel. Then based on that, and you know, all this is assuming that we get as far as I want to get, then based on that, we'll be able to put in some logic and show some capabilities based on the setup. Now, what I don't think I'll be able to do today, just so that I don't get anybody's hopes up, I don't actually think I have the necessary infrastructure to allow calls to be made to the stream. So I don't think we'll get anything where like subs today will be able to actually do something from this dashboard. I think we're just going to get to the point where that's possible. And then probably in a future stream, I will figure out how to actually make it possible for that dashboard to make calls to the Learn with Jason stream. So let's start with OAuth and see how far we can go. So before we do that, let's head over to the homepage here, and let's do a quick shout out to the sponsors. We're going to start by talking to, let's just do a shout out to the captions. We've got white coat captioning here today, and that is always very welcome. It's available on the homepage if you want to read along as you go. And that is possible thanks to the support of our sponsors. We've got Netlify, Fauna, Hasura, and Auth0 all kicking in to make this show more accessible to more people, which means a lot to me. Let's see. I was making a bunch of noise on the stream, but yeah, look. Inception, it'll go forever. Anyways, that's oh, and thank you Pilo, thank you Dom for the subs. I appreciate it. Means a lot to me, and hopefully we'll be able to do something fun with that today. So let's play. What I'm going to do today is I'm just going to start digging into these docs. So here's my thinking. I've got my learnwithjason.dev here, so I'm just going to check out a branch. Let me make sure I have the latest. What's different in here? Oh, okay. Yeah, you can be in here. Oh, wait, I don't need any of that, do I? So I'm going to reset. Okay. Then I'm going to run an npm install to just get rid of that package lock. Oh, thank you, Cynthia, for the sub. I appreciate it. Got a hype train going, 94% of hype level 1. So, you know, if y'all want to keep going, I think you get emotes for that. I get emotes for that. I like emotes. 16 months? That's yeah, both of you at 16 months. And Cynthia, thank you for the Prime sub. Thank you, Fat Sack. This lighting setup is a labor of love. I've got, you know, a light over, let's see, there's one here, right? Then there's one here, and then there's one here, and then there's the LEDs behind me. So it's taken me a while to get this set up. And then I've got, you know, the DSLR. This has been my pandemic project. It's trying to get this lighting right. Happy about that. What are you doing right now? What's going on? Parse error at what? What on earth is this? Okay, how about we do this? Let's remove node modules and let's remove package.json. And if I need to, I'm just going to do this. Whoa. That's not what I wanted to. It's not what I wanted to delete anyways. Remove package lock JSON. Okay. Oh, wait. Damn it. Okay. I know what's happening now. I just need to remove this one because we don't actually need it. Okay, so now, okay, we're clean. So I'm going to check out a new branch, and we're going to call this one feature, and we'll call it like Twitch OAuth. Subs only. All right, so I'm going to open this up, and what I want to do is I want to create a page that's going to let us do the OAuth flow. So I'm going to start by just creating a page here, and this page is going to be called subscribers. How about that? And let's take a look at how pages actually work here. I kind of forgot. So let's look at, like, all of these are the same. Is that right? Use H in the fragment. Okay. It's been a while since I've actually used this thing. So let me get into subscribers. We're going to do all of that. We don't need any of these components, so we can skip those. And what I'm going to do in here is we're going to say like H1 subscribers only. And then we can get rid of all this. We don't need it. Okay. And then let's run develop. What? Try that one more time. Oh, that's great. That's great, Cynthia. I'm glad that I hope your students are learning Netlify functions. I hope they're having fun with them. I very much enjoy the Netlify functions, and I'm having a lot of fun with them. Y'all are really gonna let this hype train die at level 1? You got 55 seconds. Make them count. What is happening right now? Okay, I might stand up just a little side page for this because I don't know what is happening. Maybe we'll just do this with like Vite or something. Yeah, what are you doing? Something has gone weird because this was building earlier today. Like I literally just built my site. But let's not worry about it today. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new repo. So we're going to make a directory, and we'll call this Twitch subs only. Move into it. And then I'm going to get init. And here's what I want to do. I want to do, let's get into Vite here. We'll do Vite, getting started. There should be like a quick command here. So we can npm init Vite. And it looks like that'll let us pick any of these. So let's do preact because preact is what I'm using. So I'm going to npm init Vite at latest. I think it'll just let me choose. Wait. Can I get it to project name? Can I just have it go in here? Yes. Oh, invalid package name. It needs to be, let's go with Twitch subs only. We're going to use preact. I don't want TypeScript because I don't know it well enough. So let's run npm install. Okay. And then let's open that. I can close this one down here. And what do we got? We've got our index.html. It's going to go there. And then we've got this app.jsx. This is our actual app, it looks like. And then this just runs it. Okay. All right. We're all happy here. This is all good. So we'll just work inside this doc and make this the page that we want to run. So I'm just going to clean out all the stuff that we don't need. And we'll say subscribers only. Take the props out, don't need those. Take the logo out, don't need that. And then we can just kind of clean up some of this stuff that we're not using. So we're not using that. We're not, are we using the index.css? Yes, we are. Okay. Keep that favicon for now. We'll go clean that up later. I'm just going to run netlify dev and see if it works. What happened? No, cannot find module update notifier. Let's use node 16. That probably is going to make my life easier. I feel like I broke node 14 on my computer. Oh, nice. We added in I was wondering if this was going to work. It knows Vite. That's useful. So it auto-detected Vite, and now we've got the subscribers only page, and it's Purple. Okay. All right. We're already there. That's like, is that the same color as Twitch purple? Oh, not quite, but that is pretty dang close. Okay. So what I want to do next is I want to figure out, how to get some OAuth going. So let's start there. I see some questions. Building Docker on a Raspberry Pi. I honestly have no idea. I am very much like not a host it myself kind of person. I always use cloud stuff because I'm not an expert on infra and I always screw it up. So I just let, like Netlify runs high traffic sites for free, or if you need a server, you can run it on like render.com is really good, or DigitalOcean. You can stand up something on AWS or Google Cloud if you want to do more of like the infra thing. If you want to build it at home though, you're going to want to talk to somebody who's not me. That's not my specialty. And Eddie Developer, yes, you got your corgi duck. I'm so happy. And the corgi duck's happy too. Like, hey friends, happy that you're liking your corgi ducks. No, I'm so happy about that. So let's do some OAuth. So what I'm going to do is go over to the API here, and I'm just going to figure out what we actually need. So I want authentication. That's where I want to start, and I'm going to need to register an app. So let's start there. Oh, I guess I click this button and that opens it in a new tab for me. So we're going to call this Learn with Jason. Do I need a redirect? When testing locally, you can set this to localhost. Okay, so I'm going to set one to, what's my Vite app is at localhost 8888. Let's set it there for now. And then we'll figure out what to do about that later. I'm going to build a website integration. It's not with an organization, and I'm not a robot. Oh crap. Oh, it's boats. Oh no, this is my greatest fear. Okay, so that one's a boat. That looks like a boat. There's gotta be a boat in this photo, right? It's probably gonna tell me I'm a robot. That's a trash can. Okay, are you a boat? First try. I love it. All right. Can I create this now? Is this going to show my tokens? Not yet. Okay. Is this going to show my tokens? There's a client ID, and I'll need a secret. Okay, so let's get the client ID set up. So what I'm going to do to get this started is let's just actually deploy this, and we'll run it as we go. So I'm going to create a new repo called Learn with Jason Twitch subs only. And now this is going to be, I'm using the GitHub CLI, so it's going to create this in the Learn with Jason org. It's going to be public. You hackers, you dirty hackers. Loud. I broke the audio on this thing and I can't figure out what happened. But wow, that was like max volume. Okay, so then we've got that going, and so that I can push. Oh no, okay. How do I link it to the one that I just created? Git remote, add origin, and we'll say like git, there's probably a way to do that more easily, but github.com, and then it'll be learn with Jason Twitch subs only.git. Okay, so now I should be able to git add everything. Good. I'm going to git commit everything. We'll call it work in progress, and we'll say building a subs only page. We're going to push. Nope, git push origin main. Okay. That worked. Then let's initialize this. We'll get it deployed. So I'm using the Netlify CLI now. I'm going to create and configure a new site. I'll put it in my own team. We're going to call this Twitch subs only. Good. It's going to run vite build. Dist Netlify functions. Good, good, good. We can put that in a netlify toml. All right. Okay, so that puts us in good shape. And what that also means I can do now is I can run env set, and we'll say Twitch app. What is it going to be called? Twitch client ID, and that's going to be set to that value, right? And then I also need to set Twitch client secret. And that one I'm going to do off screen. So give me just a second to pull that off so that I don't accidentally give away all my secrets. Okay, so that's done. I now have my secrets, and I'm going to, I think I'm just going to close this window actually. So we might need to go back there, but for now we've got that set. And now when I run this, when I run netlify dev, we have access to the Twitch client ID and the Twitch client secret, which we'll be able to use in the serverless functions. So let's figure out how to actually use those. So I got my token. Okay, so for getting a token, let's read about this. Validating requests. We can just validate whether or not the token is good. Fine. And that'll tell us, oh look, this is already telling us kind of what we need. We need channel read subscriptions. All right, that'll be what I want. And then we can registration. Client IDs, we did that part. Types of tokens. So I want authenticate, set of claims about the end user for a given authorization, enables you to get details about your user. That's what I want. So I want you to be able to log in as yourself, and then, or maybe it's a user access token. No, because I don't really need to make access. It makes requests in the context of an authenticated user. You need to generate a user access token. If your application uses Twitch for login. Okay, so I need a user access token. So to get a token, we're going to use the authorization flow. Maybe. No, I think we want the authorization flow because we can put this in, we can put the token in a HTTP only cookie and then use serverless functions to make requests. So for a user access token, which is the thing we need, we can do an OAuth authorization code flow. All right, so to do that, we are going to set up a request to this endpoint here. So let me grab this one. And let's go down here and we'll just say ahref equals, we're going to log in. So to log in, or wait, do I need to do something to get this? Registered redirect URI is going to be HTTP localhost 8888. And the response type is going to be a code. And the scope, I think all we'll need for now, at least, is the channel read subscriptions, which, is there a list of scopes I can see? Scopes. All right, so I want to be able to read subscriptions, and I think that's all I really need for now. Well, I do want to be able to get like the basics. I want to be able to see your username, but I guess that should come back no matter what. User edit, user follows, user read subscriptions. View if an authorized user is subscribed to specific channels. That is what I want. So this is the scope we'll use. Stick that one in there, and we'll see what we get back and if we need to do something else. For the client ID, because that's not private, I might just grab that Let me go off screen real quick and bring that back up and see if it'll give me the token I need. Let me make sure it's not showing. Yeah, okay. So it's not showing the secret anymore. So I can go in here. This is my client. I'm just going to do this so that I don't have to figure out how Vite manages client-side tokens. Right, so that should let us start the OAuth flow. And so if we go out here and we look at our app, okay, this looks terrible, but it's going to do what we want, which should be to start a login with Twitch flow. So let's do it. You're about to leave Twitch. Twitch has no control, and it's taking back some stuff. So we got a redirect mismatch, error description, parameter redirect URI does not match registered URI. That's untrue. Do I need to include the trailing slash? Because that's going to be, oh my goodness. All right, so let's just copy paste. Let's try that one more time. Okay, so because so apparently the slashes very much matter in this, and then I'm going to, clicking authorize will allow Learn with Jason to get the details of your subscription to a channel. Okay, I like that. It's only letting me do what I actually need. That seems like a good way to manage scopes. Requesting your public Twitch account information. After authorizing, you'll be redirected. So I'm going to authorize and it comes back. And so it gives me this like code and stuff like that. And so this is the part that we then have to manage, which once we get that back, we will authorize, they'll be sent back with a code. And then I need to, authorization 2.0 code is a 30-character randomly generated string. It's used in the next step, a request made to the token endpoint in exchange for an access token. The response includes the state parameter if it was in your request. So what we would do, actually, so instead of doing this as a just a client-side thing, let's create a serverless function for it. And I'm going to put this netlify functions. Let's put in a new file. And we will call this Twitch OAuth.js, and that's going to be export async function handler. Now I want to be able to use ESM here, so I'm going to update my netlify.toml to use esbuild. This is a new feature. I think eventually the intention is to make this the default, but for now, you have to explicitly enable it here. So I'm going to turn that off. Let me save that, and then I can have this one here. This will get an event, and the event is going to contain some stuff. The one that we care about the most is going to be this code, right? So what I want to get out of it is I'm going to get code equals event.query string parameters. All right. And then I'm, for now, I think just going to return like a status code of 200 and a body of okay. Right. And that'll get us started. Let's console log the code to make sure that it's actually doing what we want. Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to stop and restart because we just added that function. I think it would have worked, but just to make sure. So we've got that. And then what I need to do is update this code to be netlify functions Twitch OAuth. I'm going to copy that because that's going to be our new redirect URL. And that goes there and it loads that code. Okay, perfect. So using that, then what we can do is go back into Twitch developers, and I'm going to change this one and add it. Okay. So that, please don't make me do more boats. Okay. Save. All right. I've saved. We've saved that. And now if I log in, what we should get is, let's go here. And I'm going to log in with Twitch. I screwed something up. Redirect. Oh, I got to actually update our redirect in the link as well. So that's that. Let's go back here and try it again. And this takes us right through because we've already OAuth and it includes a code. So now we can do the next step. The next step here is going to be getting token. So now that we've got the code, we get one like this, we get the scope, we make a request. That request is going to look like this one. So let's go into our serverless function here and figure out how this is going to work. So we'll put that here. All right. So we start out with the token request. We get a client ID, and that's going to be my client ID. So this can be process.env.twitch client ID. And then we're going to make this one process.env.twitch client secret. The code will be the code, grant type authorization code, and the redirect URI. Oh, I don't like that it sends you to the same redirect URI. Oh, I guess I can register another one though. Okay, so what this is going to give me back, I believe, is an actual token. So here's the access token. Okay. And so what I need to do with that is then set it as an HTTP only cookie. And that way we'll be able to, yes. Okay. So that way we'll be able to validate. We'll be able to put the token into the browser cookie in a way that you can only access with HTTP, which means that you can't get it through like cross-site scripting and stuff. And then we can make requests with serverless because they can read, it's an HTTP request, so we can read the cookie. And we'll be able to get the sub status like that. So that means that I need another function to actually like get the token, and we'll register that one as a Twitch token.js. This one will also be a redirect URI so that we can do the thing. So let me grab this, put this in here, and this, what'll come back is a JSON encoded access. Oh, wait. I send a post and it just responds. Okay, so can I just, if I set localhost 8888, nullify functions Twitch OAuth as the URI, and then so we'll just kind of get each of these pieces in here. This is going to be a gnarly URL. My auto formatting is going to make this so bad. Get ready. Okay, so we've got our URL, and then the response is going to be, we'll need node fetch, so let me install that. And I'm going to get we'll await fetch URL, and then we'll get the response, and we'll get it back as JSON. And so I'm not doing validation here because I want to just double check this. But so assuming that works, what I should be able to do then is just log this response, and that should be a token that'll let me read my channel subscription. Now it doesn't have any additional permissions, so I'm not going to stress about showing that. So if you want to, use this access token to request my subscription stuff, I guess you can do that, but I'm about to show it on screen, so don't waste your time. So let's run this again. Let me actually import fetch. Node fetch. Invalid response body. Okay, so that could actually just be that the token timed out. So let's start here, log in, invalid JSON response body. Okay, let's figure out what went wrong here. We're going to say this is going to be res, and then if we didn't get an OK response, we will return a status code of 500 and a body of, I don't know, is there a res.error message? What if we just do that? Otherwise, we will await res.json and we'll log that. So what we should get here, let's maybe console log the res as well, just to see what happens. So we'll get that, and then I'm going to come back out here, reload the page, try to log in, size 0 timeout. So what happened? We got body pass through. What does that mean? So we got the body pass through. There is no error, but we got a not. Oh, I need to send it as a post. I'm a doofus. Okay, so we're going to fetch it as method post. Okay, let's try that one more time. We got an OK. We got a token. All right, so then let's try this token and see if we can actually make a request here. So I'm going to check a user subscription, and the way that we're going to do that is hit, whoa, get webhook. Where did I just lost it. Check user subscription. There it is. Let's try this one more time. We are going to hit get with an authorization token. Let's open Postman for this because it's a little bit easier. And I'm going to create a new one. We're going to get go away. All right, so we're going to set up an authorization header. And that needs to be bearer and then our token. We're going to send that to broadcaster ID and user ID. Oh, so we need to check if I'm subscribed to a certain person. So I am the user and my user ID should be in here. It's not. Crap, what's my user ID? I don't have a user ID or a broadcaster ID. Let's, how do we figure that out? Is there like a really easy way to just look this up? Not just like a button. Oh, is this going to do it? Okay, so let's convert mine to a Twitch ID. All right, so the user ID, and then what's a channel that I'm subscribed to? Chris Biscardi. Okay, so let's see if I actually get what I need. What else do I need to send with this? Client ID. So my client ID is going to be that client ID that that we have in here, probably. Let's try it. Is gift broadcaster ID tier. Okay, so it's not like a true or false. Let's find somebody I'm not subscribed to. What's a Twitch user, like who's a popular streamer? I don't subscribe to CypherPK. So what happens when I try to do one of those? Not found. No subscriptions to that user. Okay. All right. So that's useful. We can just check if the status is 404. That means that I have a valid sub or not. Okay. So this is good. This will do what we want. It's getting close to where we want to be. So the next thing I want to do is I want to, instead of just logging this response, I think what I'm going to do is, let's see, how could we do this? We could just stringify the whole response as a cookie. And that way, if later we want to get better at like doing refresh tokens and stuff, which I'm not currently, we're not going to have time for that today, but let's
Holy
let's
buckets,
make that work.
did that just work?
So then what we can do is we can netlify set cookie. There's a whole thing here. Using functions to set cookies. So we can just we send back a header and we set the cookie. And what is this cookie? Cookie.serialize. Okay, so let's use this library because otherwise we have to write it out by hand and I only like sort of understand cookie syntax. So we're going to install cookie. And then what we can do here is we're going to import cookie from cookie. And down here, we can turn our response into a cookie. So we'll say cookie equals, let's do like a new const for token cookie. And that will be cookie call it something identifiable. That's going to be the value. So the value will be JSON stringify response, and then we can set some details here. So we do want it to be secure. We do want it to be HTTP only. We can set it to the whole site, and the max age we can set to the expiration. But maybe what I'll do, maybe what we'll do to start is just use this 2 weeks. So 1 hour. I don't know why they like. I get that convention. But I'm not going to do it right now. So we need 14 by 24, and what I would do is figure out the expiration on the cookie here. Or wait, is that just the number of seconds? Like it doesn't. You know what? Let's just use that. Actually, we'll just do response dot expires in. Good. Okay, so that's good enough. And then what we can do down here is for the body, we continue to send okay, but we'll send headers. And those headers will be to set cookie. And then I want to, down here, I don't know why, oh, the no cache. I don't actually care about the no cache. what I want to do is send you back to the home page. So you know what? Let's not send a 200. Let's send a 301. And so we'll set the cookie to be token cookie. And the location is going to be the home page. And we always have to send back a body, so we'll do that. Is this going to work? You going to do what I want? Let's try this. See if we can get it the first time. Did I actually? Yes, I did actually save that. So let's netlify dev. Have a cookie monster. That is a good idea. All right, so we've got our home page. Now what should happen is in here, if I did this correctly, we should see cookies for this page, which these are all different things. So let's clear all those. So what we should see is when I log in, because we've already authorized with Twitch, it should just create that token for us. Let's see if it works. No. Import cookie.default is not a function. Crap, is it not compatible with CJS stuff? Let's see if there's like an ESM compatible version. Cookie require cookie. Anything about using it with ESM? There's a pattern for this. Does the token cookie need to be serialized and stringified? It shouldn't, because that's what cookie's supposed to do. So let's try. Let me see if that works. Sometimes you can get it to cooperate by doing that. Okay, so that at least didn't immediately fail. Let's try this again. Cookie is not a function. Damn it. All right, let's do a little bit. I promise I'm not going to take very long on this, but I just want to peek at what the source code looks like here. Exports parse, serialize, and then it should export a default. There is no default. Wait, Tony, were you saying that I just didn't use this properly? Cookie.serialize. So you're right. I just did it wrong. Sorry. Yes, you were correct. Cookie.serialize. So let's undo that. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining. We're playing with we were playing with OAuth. We got that part to work. Now we're playing with tokens. So let's see if we can make this thing run. And here we go. It's gonna do it. This is gonna be the one. We're logging in with Twitch. Log in. There's our token. And so this is now a working token. Now this is only HTTP only accessible. So let's look at that a little bit so we can see how that works. So it's on the domain, it's HTTP
Holy
only.
Buckets, did that just work?
Of course, this isn't going to do what I want. Come on. So it shows the expiration time, shows a size, it says that it's HTTP only, it says that it's secure. We could set it to same site because we're only going to use it for the same site. I'm not going to stress about it too much, but yeah, because I don't know what the limitations are of each of those things. So I gotta figure that out. But here's the thing that's cool. So now that we've got this, what we should be able to do is make a request to like do a thing. So let's look at, here's the reference. Can I get like the user name? Twitch API. Oh boy, get user. Get user. Is this the old one though? I want the new API. Legacy API. Yeah, I don't want that one. I want the Twitch API. So here's the reference. Maybe it'll just let me the user somewhere down here. Users. Get users. Just get like one or more specified users, I guess. Okay, that's fine. So we get one user and it sends back the data for that user. Do I need that? Okay. So here's what I think we should do. Let's try checking if there's, let's just set one up that'll do this. So let's get Twitch user. All right. And this one is going to, it's going to need fetch. So let's import fetch from fetch. And then have I used JS cookie? I have not used JS cookie. Let's export async handler, and that is going to get the event. Oh wait, async function handler. I do this every time. And then inside here, what we can do is we'll actually get the cookie in the event because it's an HTTP request. And to retrieve cookies, does it show, let's see if there's one that's like get cookie. No, not that one. Let's Twitch or nullify cookie in function. This one looks like it might have the cookie stuff. So event.cookie, no, cookie that gets the cookie. How are you reading it? Is there not like a parse cookie? No? No, no one's getting it? Oh, no. Okay. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to, I think it's just event.cookie. So to event.parse, let's look at this. We want to cookie parse, and it'll be like event.cookies. No, cookie.parse. Event.cookies, I think, is the right thing. So let's import cookie from cookie. And we'll console log that to make sure that it's doing what I think it is. And for now, we'll just return a status code of 200 and a body of OK so that we don't get any errors along the way. So let's try that, and we'll do the fetch here in a minute. But what I think we can do is, so we won't be able to do this from JS, and this is kind of by design, right? Is we want to be able to control the way that people access this for security. Log the entire event. I can log the entire event. Let's do it. So we'll log the entire event, and then we'll get whatever comes out of cookie.parse, assuming nothing explodes. Not resolve fetch. Oh, it's node fetch is why that's exploding. And you're saying you don't like this because handler has already been declared. Oh, Yeah, why did it auto import that? That's weird. Okay, so that should actually put us in better shape here. And when we request it, I guess what we can do is we'll just add another button here. And for now, we'll go to Netlify functions, get Twitch user, and let's see how that goes. So here's our app. Argument string must be a string. Maybe it pre-parsed it. Let's just do the event and see what happens here. So it says, okay, it got the event. Where are our cookies? Event.headers.cookie. Ah, okay, so that's what I did wrong. So we need to cookie parse event.header.cookie. And then this should actually be our cookie. So let's run no headers. There. And now we should see, here are our cookies, and it has our Learn with Jason Twitch, and that is JSON stringified. So that all, okay, so now we'll have access to the cookies. So in here, we can get LWJ Twitch, and then we can get the access token equals LWJ Twitch access token. And then we can get the user response by awaiting fetch, and we needed to hit one of these, this one. It was going to be here. Oh, but I can't get my user ID without, what is the, is there a way to get them just by username? You can get them by login, but if I can get them by login, then why the heck would I need because it'll show me the login, right? But if I have the login, so when somebody logs in, I want that token to include the details. So maybe it's going to be in like the validation. Those are the scopes. So when we validate, show me the validation. Didn't we look at this? Validation. Validating request. That's the section I wanted to look at. So when we hit validate, what comes back? We get their login. Okay. All right. So we need to actually validate this request as part of setting the token so that we can set their dang username. Okay. So let's do that. We can make that work. We will do the quest to get the token. Once we get the token, we will have it there. So what we can also do is get the token out of response.access token, and then we can get the login. I guess we would just get like validated response would be await fetch, and we're gonna hit this URL here. And send in, it's going to be a method of get, and we're going to send in the headers, including authorization bearer token. Gotta make that a template. Okay. Then we'll await that. Okay. And so out of our validated response, we should be able to, the cookie body then I want to be, let's put in the response, but then I also want to put in the login, which will be validated response.login. And then we'll set this cookie body instead. And so having done that, does it include the user ID as well? User ID. Let's also include the user ID. And that way we'll be able to like make some requests like that we'll need. So let's double check that that actually works by going out to here, and we're going to log in, and it did what we expected. Let's look at this this value here, and it includes the login of Jay Langsdorf and the user ID. So now we've got our user ID and our login in place, which means that in our get Twitch user, we need the access token. Let's see, how are we going to do this? Let's do it as, so the user ID that we need is going to be the that's fine. We'll go lwj twitch dot user ID, and then that's going to be method get, and we'll send in headers, and we need an authorization header, and that will be bearer and the access token. Okay, so assuming that did what we want, what happens next is we should be able to, we need to await that. So dot then response and response.json. We should be able to JSON stringify what comes back, and that will include null2, not null true. So now we should be able to get our Twitch user by clicking this button here. Unauthorized, invalid OAuth token. Okay, so we missed a bit there. Log in with Twitch, load. Okay. So what do you think is missing? Let's find out. I'm going to console log lwj twitch and access token. So those should both be there now. Oh, now the token is missing. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the reason that it's missing is that we didn't token object equals JSON parse lwj twitch because it's stringified. Hey, okay, so then we can get the token object and token object and take the lwj twitch. We can actually just stop this console log because this should work now. Client ID is missing. Let's try that again. Client ID is still missing. Why do I need a client ID? Where was it? I did not need a client ID to run. Twitch client ID. Try it again. No, it's over here. There it was. Okay. So what's the deal with bearer? Yeah, so what's the deal with bearer is when you have a token like that, I don't know why. I don't actually know why the terminology came around, but what I understand is that the authorization header is something that kind of standardized over time as people were trying different approaches. So we saw like JSON web tokens, and we saw, we see just on Twitch, there's like the OAuth flow and the OIDC flow. And with OAuth, this is OAuth 2, there was an OAuth 1. And so the bearer token, I think, is something that like it differentiates the way that the token is coming in if you were using multiple flows. So you could set an authorization header, and by saying that it's a bearer token, I believe you're indicating that like this is the token produced by OAuth 2. Now, I am saying all of that based on deduction, not fact. So you probably want to go look that up before you put that into like your dissertation or something, because there's I would say a high 60% chance that I just made that up. Okay. So now we're getting our username. And so the next thing that I want to figure out is, I'm pretty sure that this won't work if I try to do this as a, I'm almost positive I can't do this async. So let's try it. And when it breaks, we'll do something else. So I'm going to import use effect from preact hooks. And then we're going to set up, I need use state as well, I guess. Use state. So we'll do const user and set user. It's going to be use state, and we'll set it to false at first. And then we'll do a use effect for as soon as we load the site. And what I'm going to attempt to do is, how do we want to do this? I'm going to just declare the function in here because it runs once and I don't really care. So async function load user is going to response await fetch, and we're going to go hit nullify functions get Twitch user, and we don't need to send anything with that, so we'll wait on that. Res JSON. And I saw, like, Tony, you mentioned handling errors. I'm definitely not handling errors. This is quick and dirty because we got about 20 minutes left in the stream, so I want to make sure that we get as far as we can. What I'd love to do is be able to deploy this and let y'all see, let's see if we can get anybody in and see how it goes. So let's, wait a minute. We could do this a totally different way. We don't need to do it this way. Here's what I want to do instead. So let's skip this part. And I have an idea. So what we're going to do instead of this is I'm going to, when we do our Twitch OAuth, we get the cookie body, we get our user data and all that stuff. But what I want to do is, depending on whether or not we get a token, so we get this token, I want to check your subscription right in line. So let's do this. I should probably split these out into functions, but let's just do it here for now. And we're going to say sub response equals await fetch, and we're going to hit this URL. And we're sending that as a get. And I am, so I'm now the broadcaster, and you will be the user. So when you go in here, and this is probably going to get weird because I'm going to have to figure out, I'll probably have to like change the coding up a little bit so that I can test this against myself. But so we're going to get the response dot, we've got the token. So I've got the token here, but I need the validated response dot user ID. So we're going to go validated response dot user ID as that. And then we're going to send method get, and we need some headers, and those headers are going to be the authorization. Actually, I can just copy this right out of our get Twitch user. So let's get this one. And then we got to close that up. Nope, like that. Then go res.json. Okay. And And what I should be able to check, let's just log it for now. Console log sub response. Okay, so let's give that a shot and see what happens. I'm going to go back home. We're going to log in. Access token is not defined. Okay, so I screwed something up there. Access token wouldn't be defined because we pulled it out as token this time. That's why you name things consistently. Try that one more time. Okay, so we got back, and what we should see down here is sub response data object. Dang it. Okay, so let's get our sub response data. Let's actually just stringify this. JSON stringify sub response.data, and we'll go null2. Cannot use imports. What? You're a liar. Screwed something up. Oh, I'm missing a. There we go. Log in, head here, and we get. Oh, apparently you do automatically sub to yourself. I guess that makes sense. Like if you are there, but so it says that I'm subbed, right? So now what I should be able to do is I should be able to check tier. So if tier is set, so we're gonna get const sub data equals sub response dot data, right? And then if there is no subdata dot tier, then what I'm going to do is return status code of 301 and the location, or no, headers, location. Okay, I don't actually have another page to send anybody to, so instead I'm just gonna give an error. Unauthorized. Because I don't exactly remember how everything works here. But here's what we're gonna do instead is if you get here, we're gonna send you back to the home page, and well, really we should put like subscribers should be where you get sent. And if you get to subscribers, I guess I can just create this as a page, right? Like I'll just new file, we'll call it subscribers.html, and do it like that. And then we can set okay, we do it like that. All right, so this theoretically speaking says I'm unauthorized. Now, why does it say I'm unauthorized? Because I should be. I've got a tier. Oh, it's an array. Okay, so let's get that array data back. We will just get the first thing. So let's go back here, refresh the page, log in. We go to subscribers. Now, why? Oh, everything routes to subscribers? What? I don't get that. I don't understand how that works. Main JSX, app. How the heck does routing work here? Vite config. Does anybody understand this magic? Like, does this get set up with some, there's no redirects. I don't get how that works. Okay, so Vite does some magic that I've never seen before, so we'll have to look at that. But, well, I shouldn't need something like React Router. This is what I'm confused by, because this page, that shouldn't work. Like, why does that redirect to the home page? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand how they're doing that routing. So something is a little bit weird. Not 100% sure what it is. I'm potentially holding it wrong. I would say that's the highest likelihood thing. You know what I can do instead? Let's create a new folder, and we'll call that folder subscribers, and then I'll put subscribers inside of that and rename it to index. And then the redirect can go to the subfolder, and that should cause it to work. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so that I'm happy. So then what I want to do is, so let's deploy this first and foremost. Git add everything. Those are all things I want. So let's push that. And if I open up the site, it should open here. Here it goes. Is that already something not push? Everything up to date? No, it's not. Oh, I didn't actually commit. Damn it. Git commit, like Twitch OAuth working. All right, so then I can push that. That'll start a build. There it goes. And this should build really fast because Vite is really, really fast. The Vite build takes 1 second. Unbelievable. Okay, so now that we've got that, everybody should, let's see if it works. Oh, I gotta update my, crap. Okay, so this is something that I need to fix. We need to update these to be Twitch subs only, which means I need to replace it. I guess I just need to add it because both should work. And we'll add, save. Oh, come on. Oh, it saved anyways. Okay, good. Good, so that part worked. And then I need to go into get Twitch users and look for the local host. Oh, I guess it's only on the homepage or an app. Where is it? App.jsx. That part needs to change. Nope. Push that up. Should build nice and snappy like. Okay. Refresh. Try it again. Okay. So this got closer. Why did it send the code here? Subscribers exist though. Did it not? Oh, I wonder if when it builds, it doesn't pick up that subscribers page. That's okay. I guess we can. This is the worst. Nobody look at what I'm doing. So post build, I'm going to move subscribers to dist. Does that work? Because if we run npm run build, right, then it should create that dist folder that's got the assets.index, and then if I run move our subscribers dist move. Okay, so what if I don't have an R? That works. Okay, so move this back out so that it's not broken, and then go back into our package.json, no recursive flag, and now we'll do git commit okay. Yeah, not my best work, but it should solve the problem. So let's go up there and check that out, because I want to do one more thing, and this is one that I think, let's just make sure this actually works. That's not what I wanted to refresh. I wanted to refresh this one. It didn't work. Why didn't it work though? Post build. Oh, it just runs vite build. It doesn't run. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick change to the deploy settings and have it run npm run build, so it picks up that post build command. So let's go back to our deploys, and we will trigger a new deploy. This is the Starship prompt. It is wonderful. Yeah, I can feel it too, Ben. This is the one. This is the one that's going to work. We're going to get ourselves a published running site. Do it. Do it. Oh. Why didn't it work? Let's go check. Build.
No, this will work. This will work.
Yes. It won't work. No, but it ran vite build. Why did you do that? Maybe I have to push something because I changed the build command. I bet it's in the netlify.toml. It is. And that overrides. So you gotta fix it there. Let's git commit fix. Use the right build command. There we go. Git push. I'm glad these builds only take like 15 seconds. Let's get over here. Try it one more time. This is going to be it. Like, let's believe. Make sure it runs the right command. Come on, come on, come on. It would be neat if this just worked. Yeah, okay, all right, we did it. Okay, and if we look in the application cookies, we'll see that we've got a cookie set here, and that means that everybody now, first try, absolutely. Yes, so everybody should now be able to go to this app and log in with your Twitch. And it should redirect you to the subscribers page if you are, if you're a sub, and it should show 401 unauthorized if you're not. Now, here's the catch. Right now, if you navigate directly to this subscribers, it'll let you in. Like, it's not going to actually keep you from doing anything. So what I want to do is I'm going to try cookie-based redirects and see. I've never actually tried these before, so fingers crossed that I don't get embarrassed here. But I think we can check on the presence of a cookie. Redirect users. I want to just check the presence of a cookie. Redirect by cookie presence. That's what I want. So I think what I can do in here is I can go into this redirects. Is there a static? Does Vite have a static folder? Because that's what I really need. Public. Directory to serve as plain static assets. Files in this directory are served at / during. Okay, so that's actually what I need. And by default, it's public. So I overcomplicated this. I should have just set a public directory and moved subscribers into it. And then I can create redirects here as well. And then I can go into my package.json and remove that hacky bit, because we don't actually need to do that anymore. Okay. And then in my redirects, what I want to do is I want to say subscribers and any subdirectory of subscribers. Let's just start with subscribers. And we'll say you go to home. Forward request to legacy if the browser sends a cookie named is legacy or other. Wait, can I check if it's not there? I want someone to be able to not be able to access. I don't want role, I just want I feel like there should be a way for me to do this, because what I really want is if you go to the home page and you don't have this cookie, I want it to bounce you out. Cookie-based redirects. Oh, wait, I think I can just do like subscribers. Okay, this is what I can do, because it matches in order. So what I can do is I can just do a stack and say, we'll send a 200 if the cookie is LWJ Twitch, because that's the name we used, right? Here. LWJ Twitch. So if the cookie is LWJ Twitch, otherwise, if it's not, what we will do is we'll send them to the home page with a 301. Okay, so that should do it, I think. So let's not even test it. Let's just try it. So let's add everything and we'll get commit yeet. All right. So now what we should see is once this deploys, oh, we're out of time. We're so out of time. All right, everybody. This is the moment of truth. If this doesn't work, I got to end the stream because I'm out of time. But site is live, subs only. Okay, I can go to it. We delete the cookie. Yes, in the nick of time. All right, everybody. With that, we are going to do a shout out. We've got white coat captioning on the stream, as always, making the show more accessible. That is through the generous support of our sponsors, Netlify,
buckets, did
Fauna,
that just work?
Hasura, and Auth0, all chipping in to make the show more accessible. Make sure while you're checking things out, you go and look at the schedule. I'm not going to take any time to show who's coming up, but definitely get in here. We've got amazing things coming up. With that, this has been a ton of fun. Chat, thank you so much as always for hanging out and keeping me company while we try to figure this thing out. I am over the moon that we were able to get that to work in the last possible second. So let's go find somebody to raid. Thank you so much for hanging out, and we will see you next time.